I'm Jason, and I will be your watcher for this evening's Marvel Heroic one-shot mini-event. Real quick before we start, you can donate to tinyurl.com/terriblepartyoct20. We also have a live ticker to track donations so you can see where we're at in our efforts to raise $500. If you choose to donate, and you can donate, please consider giving to this really important cause. You can go to centerforsuicideawareness.org and view the resources and impact the center has. They are dedicated to preventing suicide through proactive education, training, emotional support, collaboration, and intervention, and they provide services in the US and partner with groups across the world. If you want to see our full game schedule, head over to Twitter @TerribleParty and view the pinned tweet. After the Marvel Heroic stream you're currently watching, we've got late night with Steve and Jack tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A big thank you to all of our stream runners, GMs, and players. Without you, these streams would not happen. Now, let's dive in. The dull sound of static greets you first as you find your way to consciousness. It irritates you on a primal level, making your first impulse the desire to tear the noise directly out of your ears. This desire is interrupted, however, by the raw and old smell of rotting flesh, of urine, and of fecal matter. The ground upon which you lay is cold, textured, yet metallic to the touch, and is coated in liquids and squishy things that you care not try and identify. As you strive to resist the onslaught on your senses, you consider that it might be best to not subject your eyes to whatever vision is bound to greet them, and wish fervently that you could coax your mind back into unconsciousness. Alas, you recognize the futility of this and force your heavy lids to part. Nightcrawler, you find yourself alone in a small, dingy room with what at first glance appears to be concrete walls, floor, and ceiling, but upon closer inspection appears to be some kind of metal sculpted to give that impression. Decaying remains of the room's past occupants are scattered about the tiny space. From what you can tell, the bodies were left for the insides of their stomachs to bloat and burst, exploding their internals all over the space. You might have contracted something deadly just by lying here. There is a metal door in one wall with a brain-shaped doorknob and print around the doorknob casing that reads simply, "Brain Squeeze." Manwolf, you find yourself in a room much like I described for Nightcrawler, but your door has no strange handle affixed to it. Instead, your door has no handle. Beside it, a series of letters are etched into metal tiles beside the sealed door. There is also a hole in the floor in the rear right corner, in which stirs what is clearly sewer water filled with, well, what you'd expect from a cell toilet. Terror. You find yourself alone as well, but your room is spotless. The smell you detected was your own body. The walls in here are perfectly polished mirrors, and there is no door. You have all barely had time to grasp what you have seen when the static suddenly ceases. The grating noise of a mic being turned on crashes into your ears, and you turn to see the crude speaker hung in the rear upper left corner of the cell you occupy. You can just make out the pinhole camera built into the bottom of the speaker box. A familiar, infamous voice comes over the speaker system. "Are we ready?" Nap time's over. The show begins in 3, 2, 1. And then a dull, death metal, Fox patriotic dirge-like instrumental assaults you at full volume. An artificially deep and gravelly voice belches out, "Seedy elements, where the dregs of humanity fight for a shot at redemption. Now here's your host, the world's most patriotic assassin, Arcade." As the music plays out, the voice that first greeted you returns to your ears. "Welcome, everyone, to Glitch TV's Seedy Elements, brought to you live from Murderworld. As always, I'm your host, the world's best and most fun assassin, Arcade. As my fans will already know, Seedy Elements brings together the worst of society: criminals, thugs, bullies, mutants, monsters, and more, and puts them through the gauntlet in an effort to force them to make amends to us, the public, for having endured their existence. They make amends through their suffering and hopefully their deaths. Tonight's going to be an extra special show, our Halloween show. As such, we've spared no expense in bringing you the real-life monsters whose very presence in our worlds keeps us all looking under our beds in fear. In no particular order, our contestants are Man Wolf. Is he man or is he wolf? He's both. And he's a disgrace to his former uniform, to his country, and to his father. I hope dear old Dad's watching tonight. Maybe we can give this bad boy the spanking that Daddy should have given him years ago. Terror. What a pile of surgery trash. But we love him anyway, so let's give him a hand. Oh, on second thought, don't. He might take that literally. Myth is that he can't die. Well, I am going to bust that myth faster than Adam Savage can launch a hot water tank through a 2-story building's roof. Nothing personal, Terror, just business. Nightcrawler. Now here's an old foe of mine. He's been my guest before, but this little blue devil won't be so lucky this time, that I promise you. But of course, I never play favorites. I do my honest best to make sure that they all face their worst nightmares. Well, we hope our contestants will proceed through our various games and challenges with honor and decency. But look who we're talking about. This is going to be our no-holds-barred, last man standing fight to the finish! All for our ever-loving, ever-growing fan base of gore-loving seedies. As usual, anyone who lives long enough to make it to the finish line and signs the agreement to change their ways forever gets their freedom and a secret prize. If they make it but don't sign, well, best that you don't find out. Let the games begin! The audio feed dies, but the low red light pin of the pin camera blinks on as the irritating sound of static returns to your assaulted ears. So, who goes first?
I want to see what is behind that door.
All right, so you're going first.
Sure.
Okay, can we have a quick roll call? Who's Nightcrawler? Who's Manwolf? Who is Terror?
I'm Joey. I'm playing Nightcrawler.
I'm Chris. I'm playing Terror.
I'm Marlon. I'm playing Manwolf.
All right, so Nightcrawler, you're going to go for the door?
Yes.
All right, let me just go back here. Let's see. So, how are you approaching the door?
I'm going to reach out with my little 3-fingered hand and just try for the knob, that little brain squeeze knob. I want to see what's going on with that.
All right, let me go to that screen real quick. I'm sorry, I have a lot of event stuff I got to go through here. I had a table of contents. There we go. Here we go. Sorry, guys. My stuff is giving me a little bit of trouble here. Here we go. Okay. So you are grabbing the handle?
Yeah.
All right. I am going to have you go ahead and pull a reaction pool as you trigger a trap.
That was quick.
All right, so let's see here. I'm going to pull a dice pool while you grab it, and all of a sudden, it's like a circuit connecting, and your whole brain just lights up with just intense, powerful, just surge of power, of psychic power. And I am going to get my dice pool together and roll that for you. So this is D10, D8. D10. Okay, so that's dice roller is here. Okay, so you must beat a total of 20.
All right. I'm solo right now, correct?
You are by yourself. Yes, you are solo.
That's D6. I'm going to go dashing swashbuckler, just kind of referring to my curiosity here. I'm going to go reflexes to try and let go of the knob as this happens.
Okay.
And then, let's see, could I cram any specialty? Could I try to do acrobatics to try to like flip away or something?
You can try to use acrobatics to try to flip away from the door. Sure.
Okay. And do we all have a plot point as of right now?
You all start with one plot point.
I think in that case, I'm going to go 2d8 for my acrobatics master. Let's see what I get. Well, it's not higher than 20.
Oh, okay.
Do I know what this effect
I was going to say, I don't think
You don't have to
I
split
don't
a
think
plot
you
point.
need to.
Yeah, you don't have to split a plot point to split your D10 into 2d8 for the specialties.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I meant for the total here.
That's what I was gonna say.
Do I know what that effect of yours is going to be?
It's a D8 effect die.
Okay. All right. So I guess I'll go ahead and add a third die to my total here. Okay. It's going to be 16.
Okay. So you're not failing I'm not succeeding by +5.
Right.
So it's going to remain a D8. So you go ahead and take, this is going to be mental stress.
Okay. So I get shocked by this thing.
You get a mental brain shock from that.
Okay. I just kind of shake my head and I think, like, when the X-Men said we were taking a vacation, this is not what I had in mind.
Okay, you did not let go of the handle. You're still because you failed to get away. So are you going to complete your action by trying to turn it?
I think I'll opt for something else.
Okay. So I got to find you right here, and that is mental stress here in D8. I'm going to try to keep track of everybody's stuff. All right. So who are you passing to?
Let's see. Now that my reaction's done, I think I'll turn it over to Terror.
All right, Terror.
Right.
Do you need a recap of what you saw?
I saw nothing. Everything is mirror smooth, and there's no way out.
All right, so what are you going to do in this room?
First thing I'm going to do, try and mark the walls. take my right metal hand and just swing at him.
Okay, let me get over to that room. There we go, locations. Okay. All right, so go ahead and this is going to basically be a kind of like a perception and investigation kind of dice pool against the Doom pool, which is currently at 2d8.
Okay. That will give me a solo d10. Take. I guess that stench is me as a d4. And not sure any of my powers or specialties would apply here, but I know I got to pick some. I'll go.
You don't have to pick anything. You can choose not to include them. And you can always spend a plot point to take a stunt, not a stunt, but a D6
Push die.
push die. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. I think I'll roll a d10, a d4, and a d6.
All right, just let me know the result.
Oh, that is 2 hitches and a 2 on the d10.
Okay. Okay, then that means, let me get back to that roll. I rolled a 10. So you you do not find, let's see, you're kind of examining, and let's see, you put your hands on the mirrors, and it looks like the mirrors, when you actually put your hands on them, you kind of pass slightly through them a little bit. The mirrors are apparently some kind of hologram with something solid behind it that feels like textured metal.
Okay.
So the ones that you've examined so far just are a holographic projection with something behind it.
Well then, what's behind it? It's just a wall.
You play around with the wall and you find one that, okay, there's something here. There's an opening here that might be the way out.
Is there another opening?
But that's the only one you found so far on this roll.
All right then. No time like the present.
All right. So you try to walk through?
Yep.
Okay. As you start to walk through and you put your hand through, you feel a hand touch your own, and you jerk back. And as you start to, as you stare at your reflection, the reflection steps out of the hologram, and there is another you in the room. And you've already made your roll, so are you passing it to your doppelganger, or are you passing it to another player?
I'll pass it to Manwolf.
All right, Manwolf, you have a choice. You can try to figure out the door puzzle, or you can try to get out the stinky way, or try to find another way.
The questions. What is the Doom pool at the moment?
Right now, it is 2d8.
2d8. Okay. Am I assume I'm human right now, not wolf.
That is entirely up to you.
Okay, I'm gonna start as human. I'm not actually a fan of possibly losing control as a wolf. So I'm going to stay as human as long as I can. But I want to go over and check out the keypad. I don't know. You said there are what do you say, numbers or letters?
They are
And
letters.
how many?
It is
Okay.
it is
it a
the
full
alphabet, and
Okay.
right above where that is, you can see a little miniature version of what I described in the Room for Terror. There's a little holographic mirror that reflects you and what you do right above the words. So you see yourself.
Right.
But you see a mirror
right,
image of yourself.
I'm gonna punch in some letters. Just do
what
it.
exactly are you going to punch in?
I don't have any other idea of what it could be. I'm still dazed as I'm waking up here, so I'm gonna type in just my last name, Jameson.
Okay, so you're typing
as I can.
Okay, you're typing in your name. Okay, let me. Good, I got to the right page. All right. Okay. Okay. So you hear click, 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 click. And the walls to the left and right begin to close slowly. Now, you haven't made any kind of dice roll yet, so you can choose to try to get a roll against the doom pool to try to figure out what you might be trying to do to push this in, or you can make a dive for the toilet, or you can try to fight the walls in some way.
You said there's no handle on the door, right?
No handle.
All right. I'm just without rolling. I'd like to push against the walls just to see do they give or how sturdy they are. Just pushing against the walls, pushing against the door to see if anything will even give.
Okay, so you can, since you're in your human form rather than your man-wolf form, you can make a dice pool against that if you want to try to stop it, or if are you just trying to feel it out?
I'm kind of trying to feel it out.
Okay, it is 2 steel walls that are being hydraulically pushed inward from what you can feel. At least it's that kind of strength. Could be pneumatic, you don't know, but it's got some heft behind it.
Okay, all right. And I assume that the door must be steel as well.
Yes.
Let's see. You know what? Do I need to spend a turn to turn into Manwolf?
No, that's something that you can do as a flavor.
Okay. You know what? I will. Out of desperation here, I will turn into Manwolf, and I have super strength. I'd like to bust open that door.
Okay, then go ahead and make a dice pool against that.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got, excuse me, D10 as let me see. Hold on. Yeah, D10 is solo. I've got. The other thing. What are the scene distinctions at the moment?
Oh, thank you for that. Each room has a scene distinction. Let me grab those for you. Let's see. The scene distinctions. Oh, it's not here. It's over here. I forgot about that. On the Watcher tab. They are cramped quarters And for the room you're in, for every room but for Terror's room, unbearable filth.
It's a good one.
I see. Okay. So you said mine is cramped quarters as well?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to use that as a negative distinction because it's making me very uncomfortable. So a D10, a D8. I'm going to use superhuman strength. And can I use combat expert with this?
This really wouldn't be combat. It's not. You're not trying to fisticuss anybody. This is more of an active raw strength.
That's what I was thinking. Would science expert? Well, let's see. Science. Taking this science. Well, the raw science of pitting my own ability against steel and whatever is holding that steel in to push it open, or even slam into it with my shoulder.
Basically trying to work out the best angle of approach for this. Yeah, I can allow that.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, so that's a D8. Okay, so I've got 2 D10, a D8, and a D4. Is that all correct?
That sounds right. You can go ahead and roll.
Okay. Yeah, rolling now. Oh, well, there are worse rolls. Okay, I got a hitch on the D10.
Okay.
And on the D8, I got a 7. On the D10, I got a 2, so I've got a 9. And then on the hold on, let me do. Yeah, okay, I got a 9 total and a D10.
Okay, so for the opportunity, and this game they're called opportunities, not hitches. For the opportunity, I will go ahead and give you a plot point, and I am going to add a D6 to my doom pool. Let me go ahead and just do that. Okay, and in response to your roll, my reaction roll, I rolled a 12. So you are still having that come down on you. Okay, so you have a choice of, well, basically at this point you're done. You can really only pass to the Watcher, but I'll let you choose whether you're passing it to the trap in Nightcrawler's room, the trap you're in, or to the doppelganger that Terror is facing.
Do me.
I'll take the trap to keep my turn going here.
I'm sorry, I did not hear the answer.
I'll take the trap in my room just to keep mine going.
Okay. All right. So then we are going to have this thing try to crush you. And I need my page again. Traps. There it is. Okay. So I am going to cramp quarters, D8. Okay. The difficulty of having things on multiple pages on your desktop. Let's see.
Oh, I know the feeling.
So, oh, and I forgot to tell you, I also rolled an opportunity on my reaction die, if you want that, from the prior roll.
Can I hold off until I make my roll?
You have to kind of grab it at the time, or it's gone. So
then I'll I'll pass on it.
Okay, so I'm going to make my roll now for the walls coming in. Okay. So you're rolling against a 14 with a D10 effect die.
Wow. Okay. If I buy a push die and make it a power stunt, I want to make a power stunt. I want to pull out just the desperation of my muscles and combining whatever durability or strength to be able to push off the walls, or at least resist them. My main goal at this point is, now you said that the hole with the sewer water would be is what, big enough for a person to get into?
It is, but
is that even an option?
it is right now. If on your next turn you can choose to make that move. If you don't, it's going to be covered up by the wall and be gone.
Right. Okay. Right. Well, I'll put that off until the next turn, but that is my goal at this point.
I mean, you
But
could
at
always
least,
spend you could always spend a plot point to have that be your reaction, if you choose to. Instead of using it for an effect die, you could use it for a asset. Get me out of here. So to use next round.
Okay, I could create this now with this roll, hopefully.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. What was your roll total and effect die?
I haven't rolled it yet. I've got. Okay. I'm asking about the push die. If I connect that with. I want to connect that with my super strength or superhuman durability, to be like an extra push.
Okay.
To survive this.
So you want to basically treat it as a stunt, not a push.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
A strength power. So yeah, you can do that.
Whichever one is higher.
Yeah, the stunt would be higher. Which
die would it be?
It would be a D8 for a stunt.
Okay, D8. And I have 3 PPs right now. I'm spending 1.
Okay.
So right now I've got a D10. I'm taking a positive distinction, and for a D8, so I've got a 2D10 and a 3D8.
All right.
Okay. Rolling now. I have at most, what did you say I was rolling against?
14.
I just rolled a 14. I could have a total of 14. How do you do ties? Attackers or heroes?
Ties always go to the attacker.
Okay. Then I'm going to need to spend another plot point to add a 5 or a 6 to it to make it a 20.
Okay. All right. So then you are not damaged as the walls get closer and closer, and attempt to basically crush you. And you said that was 2 plot points you spent, right? And you had 3 to start?
Yeah, so I've got 1 now.
Okay. So are you going to use that to make an asset with that reaction die, or are you going to leave it alone?
You know what? I will make an asset with it. So make that a D8.
All right. So now you're down to 0 plot points.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go back to players.
And I passed to the threat in Nightcrawler's room.
Well, you already did your pass. Now it's now I decide who goes after that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So and Nightcrawler, you did not spend, or you did spend a plot point?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so you're down to 0. Terror did not spend a plot point. And all right, so that's clear. All right, so now we are going to go to Nightcrawler, and we're going to have the machine attempt to zap you again, since you are still technically holding on
yeah.
to the door. All right, so that is D10, D4. Okay. Remove dice. 10, 4. All right, that is a total of 19, but it will only have a D4 effect die if you fail.
Okay. And so this thing is just,
It's zapping your brain some more.
okay. Oh, let's see what I got here. I'm gonna go solo D6 again. I think I'm gonna go D8 for my devout Catholic.
Do you have anything from years of training with psychic people that might come into play?
I would hope so, but looking at this, I'm not seeing much.
You might be able to say, I learned from Xavier stunt die, or something like that to help you out.
Would I need a plot point to create it?
You would need to use a plot point to create a D8, which if you use a D4 distinction, you would have 2 plot points instead of 1 to work with.
Okay. Or I guess 0 in my case. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will go D4. I'm going to go D4 for dashing swashbuckler just to kind of illustrate how my recklessness gets me into these type of situations.
Gotcha.
And then I'm going to go, I think I'm going to try to teleport away from this thing.
Okay.
So that's going to be a D8 for teleport, except I think I want to use my flurry of teleportation effect if I can.
Okay.
So against a single target, step up or double, remove the highest rolling die and use 3 for your total. And then I think I will try once more to use acrobatic just to kind of add that extra oomph of trying to push away from it.
Now, if I remember correctly, Nightcrawler can only teleport to places he can see.
I think I'm not sure. I think it was a little bit of that, and maybe like if he's been there before, he has to know where he's going, I think is the basic idea.
If he were to like to go, hopefully there's space on the other side of this door, and like cross his fingers and try to envision what's on the other side of the door, he could theoretically try.
Yeah, it's just he has to be careful not to like phase into things.
Right.
So it's kind of rolling the die, I guess. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I'm asking you, are you going to try to teleport within the chamber, or are you going to try to teleport out of the chamber?
I think I'm going to go out, still using that D4 distinction to show he's being kind of reckless.
Okay.
So that's D6, D4, and I'm going to go, I think I'm going to step up teleport, so that'll be D10.
Okay.
And then I'm going to go ahead and roll the acrobatic 2D8 again. Actually, let's make that 10. So that's D4, D6, 2D10. I'm going to discard the highest and add 3. Here we go. Okay. I think you had a 19, is that right?
It was a total 19.
Well, unfortunately for me, I got 2 1s, a 10, and a 9. I guess the best I could do is still not enough.
Okay. So give me your actual numbers, total and effect die.
Okay. So total is 19, and then effect would be the default D4, I guess.
Okay. What I was looking for was whether or not your effect die was going to be higher, which would step down the effect die to nothing.
Right.
So
2 opportunities, though.
Okay. I'm going to grant you those. And I'm going to grant you 1 plot point, and I'm going to add another D8 instead of adding a D6, adding 2D6 rather.
Okay.
So I am doing, so it is now we are at 1D6 and 3D8 in the Doom pool. All right.
Looking at 2, I have the D4 distinction plot point and then the opportunity plot point, so that's 2.
All right, so now you have 2 plot points. And your mental stress is going to step up to D10 because you've had a D4 and you already had D8 in there. So we're at D10, mental stress. So it's looking scary for Kurt here.
Didn't take too long.
All right, and that brings us to terror. All right, now I need to be a little flexible on this. All right. All right. So, terror, you see yourself, or rather a mirror image of yourself. The gauntlet that houses your fallen lover's petrified hand, perfectly preserved hand, rather, is on the opposite side of the body as it is on your hand. Everything is just a mirror image, and this thing is going to lash out at you. And let's see, that is, I got to combine his stats with yours. So D6, and he's going to lash out at you with his hand and try to burn through you with your own acid touch. So that's a D6, a D8, and then add D6 to your dice pool. And step the highest by 1, and that's going to be a D8 down to a D6, so D6, D6, D6. And then he doesn't really, well, he's trying to scare you as well, so Menace Master. So that would be a D6, D8, D6, D8. Okay, so that how that works. So let me clear my thing. D8, D8, D6, D6. Okay. In order to not be burned by the acid, you have to avoid a total of 12 with an effect die of D6, which I need to check that stat. You step up physical stress by 1, so this would be a D8 if you are affected. So total 12 and a D8 effect die. Go ahead and roll to resist.
All right. So that will be solo D10, walking corpse D8. What's a little acid? I'll just use this guy for parts. And then I guess mimic. What is mimic for? Would it be mimic or weapon from the
If you're just trying to damage somebody, it's weapon. Basically what you do is you use weapon to damage them, and then when you take their body part to use as your own, you use mimic to mimic their powers, and telepathy is basically to gain their memories.
Got it. And menace expert right back at him. So that's 2d8 and 2d10.
Okay. What do we got for a roll?
Roll total 16 d10 effect.
Okay, fantastic. So he reaches out for you and misses. The acid kind of just drips on the floor. Are you going to use a plot point to counter?
I sure am.
Okay, so what was your effect die again?
That was a d10.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and grab my sheet. And clear this out because I accidentally didn't prepare this slide. Delete. And this is... Okay. And that is, you said D8, D10.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. So you grab onto his arm as he swings and misses and grips hold and start to burn through his arm. And as you lift back, trying to tear the arm off, it doesn't go, but you can see that the flesh was a facade and beneath is metal, bone, and pneumatics and hydraulics. This thing is a robot, or at very least a cyborg.
Oh, you're going to have to try harder than that, Bolt. Rust Bucket. I will. Do I get to respond or do I have to pass?
Okay, so let's see. I have triggered all 3 of the traps, so we are back to the action order. I will go ahead and give it back to Terror to respond.
I think I will just make the exact same roll to just tear this thing's arm off or take it down. So 2d8, 2d10.
Okay. And let's let me know what your results are.
Roll the hitch on the d10 opportunity. And 14 d10 effect die.
Okay. Let me clear my die. 14 in the d10. All right. So then he is solo. Robotic nature is going to be a boon. So 68. Let me look at your sheet real quick and see what you have to protect. I am going to, well, I don't have a D10, so I can't really use my ignore physical and trauma and things. He doesn't have anything that will work there. Okay, so basically none of his specialties will go, so it's just going to be 2 dice. Rolling, that's only a 7. All right, so he takes an additional D10 stress, physical stress, which he already had D10, so that steps up to a D12. So now he's starting to short a little bit from your efforts, and you're really, and you applied acid, correct?
Yes.
So it's kind of like battery acid interacting with his circuits. It's causing shorts and his motions are getting jerky. All right, so he's not down, but he is not working right. Do you want to pass it back to him again? Or are you going to pass it to a player or pass it to another trap?
I'll pass it to Nightcrawler.
Okay, Kurt, let's see what you got.
Alrighty. So I really want to get away from this stupid brain squeeze thing.
Okay.
I've not enjoyed my time with it here. So I'm going to try to teleport to the other side of this door one more time. I'm guessing I don't know that there are other heroes here. Is that correct?
You suspect, well, you know, because
based off the broadcast.
off the announcement, you know there are 2 other participants. You don't know them as heroes.
Right.
I mean, you kind of know J. Jonah Jameson. I mean, not John. John Jameson rather. But he was described as Man Wolf, and you can't see him.
Okay. So I wouldn't know that he's in the next room over, for instance.
You don't know where he is. He's just in another room, and
Okay.
you know he's present, and he's probably in a situation similar to your own.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to try to teleport past this thing again. I'm going to go solo D6. Get my dice roller up here.
And I should have spent a die on that attack from you the first time, so I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that D6. So we're good.
No problem. Let's go D6 solo. I'm going to go devout Catholic D8. I'm just thinking, like, my faith has seen me through the likes of Magneto, Apocalypse, like, so much worse than this cackling lunatic arcade. Like, I can do this. So I'm going to go D8. I'm going to go teleport, and I want to use that flurry of teleportation. Hopefully it'll work better this time.
Okay.
That's going to be, I think, D10. And once more, I will be trying this Acrobatics Master 2D8. Come on, Kurt, you got this. Okay. I'm going to spend a plot point to add 3 dice, or a 3rd die to my total. I did roll a opportunity on my D6. Let's see here. So I'm looking at a total of 15 with an effective D8.
Okay, 14 D8. All right. So
I'm sorry, that's 15 D8.
all right. So I am going to use the gotcha distinction as a hindrance. So I'm going to add a Doom die to my Doom pool and take a D4. It's solo D10, D4 that, and then trying to zap you as you go out. So that is D10, D10, D4. And I've got 2 opportunities and a total of 6.
Okay.
So you successful. So you're using your effect die not to attack, but to escape.
Correct.
So you brimstone, vanish, and you reappear I am going to spend my D6 to inflict that D4 effect die as a retaliation, as you are flying blind. But it is going to be physical rather than psychological. So you have a D4 physical stress. Now, you know what? I never added the D10 mental stress to that. I apologize. I am going to hold off on that since I didn't do that during the initial roll. I didn't think of it till after I rolled. So I'm going to skip that. You have D4 physical stress, and my doom pool is down to just, again, 2d8. All right. Where are you sending that? Are you sending it to? Okay, so you're out of the room, and you no longer have the trap going after you. You are in a similar space in terms of the walls are the same material. The floor is littered with goo and slime, and the walls are splattered with you see dents in the wall that were possibly made by blunt or sharp objects used in some kind of fight. But you see before you the beginnings of what looks like a maze. There are corridors going in various different directions. You do see pinhole cameras and speakers lining the room, in various different spots to kind of keep track of things. It does not look like currently there is a good opportunity for a blind spot where you'll be out of camera range, but that's maybe something for a later investigation. So what do you plan? Who do you want to pass to?
I think I'm going to go over to Manwolf this time.
All right, Manwolf, this is your last opportunity to try to use the toilet to get out, or you can try to one more time try to solve the puzzle to open the doors, or you can keep trying to push against this trap.
I think your mic's off. There we
Okay,
go.
sorry. Okay, to solve that puzzle, am I rolling against the doom pool?
You are.
Or, okay, and what is there one of those that I can use my superhuman strength with? Because that's what I've got the highest in.
I mean, you don't know. You dive into that water. You're probably going. You don't know if it's going to come right out the other side, or if you're going to be swimming for a while. So you might be able to use that strength, or possibly some kind of stamina to try to make it through that. Or you can always try to punch the door down.
Okay.
Or you try to solve the puzzle.
To solve the puzzle, I'm assuming I would need to come up with the correct thing to punch into the keypad.
Yes.
And I would use, well, I wouldn't be able to use any of my powers for that. I maybe could use science or tech expert.
You certainly could try that. Yes.
You know what? I've got the best chance with my strength. So I will do that. I will attack it. I'll punch it or charge it with my shoulder or something like that. Kind of similar to what I did before, but also again using science expert to come up with the best angle to hit it with.
Gotcha.
Does that sound all right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see. Remove all dice. So I've got a D10 for solo. I'm going to use a positive distinction. Powers of Star God.
Okay.
So a D8, and then D10 for my strength, and then D8 for science. What's the doom pool again?
That is 2d8.
2d8. Okay. Well, I feel all right about this. I have no plot points, so I have nothing else to add to it. But I've got a 2d8 and a 2d10. Cool.
Sounds good.
Okay, then I'm rolling right now. Here we go. Okay, that's better. I've got an 18 total and a d10 effect.
All right.
Oh, you know what? I had. Oh, okay. Fine. I've got that asset that I created last time too.
Oh yeah.
Which is a d8, but.
Yep. Well, you had already said you were going to add that, so I will allow it.
Okay.
So if you want to just add the die and then check the box under that die and roll checked die, so you're only rolling that one die.
Oh right, yeah. Okay. Hold on. D8 and roll check die. So. Okay. Wow. Okay. Even better. Well, it's the same thing because I got another 8. So I've got an 18 total and a d10 effect.
Okay, that is enough. You grab the door and you start trying to pry and then you pound. The walls are getting closer and closer, and at the very last, and it gives, and it gives, and it collapses down, and you stumble out just as the doors go, and the walls collide, and you've got a little tuft of hair that got left behind. In that little, you got to go, the indignity is a little bit of your tail got left behind in the door.
I know what that's like.
But you're safe, you're fine, didn't sustain any damage, and you are in a similar maze-like series of corridors. You don't see anyone around, but you're in a similar situation that Nightcrawler was in when he bamfed through and found himself in corridors. So that trap is no longer available. Go ahead and tell me if you're going to pass to Terror or to his doppelganger.
Let's pass to and those are the last two of the round.
Yeah, I think. Let me double check.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, hang on. I think Terror went first, so it would actually just be because Nightcrawler has gone, Terror has gone, Mammoth has gone, so it would just be the trap now, or the doppelganger now. Okay, so
my only point.
Yep. So we're going to go ahead and clear my dice. All right. He is going to make another attempt at attacking you, but don't forget that he has D12 physical stress already, so when you're making your defense, you can use that in your dice pool. So let's see here. It's going to be a similar attack from last time. So D6. I'm going to take the robotics as a D4. So that I gave plot point a Doom Pool die back. So D6, D4. And we are going to try to use the spikes on his face. It's just trying to headbutt you. And I am going to use, I'm going to double the weapon die. So it's going to be 2d8. And if I fail, I get to add a d8 to the Doom Pool. So rolling. That's an opportunity. And you have a total of d8 and a d8 effect die to go ahead and attempt to beat.
Well, all right. I unfortunately do not have any plot points with which to buy that opportunity.
Okay.
But I will add that D12 physical stress, D8 weapon, D8 walking corpse, and menace expert, menace master.
All right, go ahead and make your roll.
That is an opportunity on the D8. Either a 13 with a D10 effect or a 12 with a D12 effect. I think I'll take the 12.
Okay, so he fails that, so a doom pool increases by a D8. And so he tries to headbutt you. You step out of the way, and it just hits air. And I am going to pass it to you. That's the start of the new action order, to go ahead and try and finish off what's going on.
All right. Same roll, right back at him.
Okay.
That is an opportunity on the D10 and an opportunity on the D12.
Dang, that sucks.
In a growing dread, it's a bitch. And then 10 total D4 effect.
Hey, when I roll those ones on my D10s and D12s.
Well, I got a 1 and a 2, but Terror has growing dread as a limit.
Well, you are fortunate that I only rolled a 4.
Fortunate indeed.
All right, so you step up you step up that D10, that D12 rather, past D12. So, and it collapses on the floor. You are still in the room.
Of course. But there's a way out now. There's the door the robot came in through.
Well, I mean, that was the door the robot came in through. You don't know that that's the way out. You just know that that was a door that the robot came through. All so right. You can try to find another door. You can try to use that door again.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I will look for another door.
Okay. You can do that on your next turn. Your combat action is over. So you said when you come back, you can make the decision when you come back whether you keep or you go. All right. So I am going to, before we continue on, okay, actually, who you're going to pass to is the start of the turn. Are you passing the Man-Wolf or Nightcrawler?
Everyone's out, right? Other than me, so I'll pass to Man-Wolf.
Okay, so you're in this maze. In order to try to find the way through the maze, you're going to have to roll against the Doom Pool to navigate. The higher you roll, well, the results of your roll will determine where you end up.
Okay. I'm as a side note, I'm going to, as I'm trying to figure out where I am, just yell out like, "Hello, is anyone there?"
Okay.
Trying to holler it out, not screaming, but hollering to see if I can get any kind of response with that. But I can go ahead and roll against the Doom Pool now.
All right, go ahead and do that while I find my navigation tool. That's milestones. Okay. And I will get my D6 and 3D8 going. All right. What's your total and effect die?
I've got, let's see, can I use science expert to like figure out perhaps the way that if there's a draft in the wind that might direct me to where an open space might be?
Yes, you can definitely do that.
Along,
yeah, you can use any trick at your disposal.
Okay, then I will. I've got D10 for solo. I'm going to take a negative, because I'm an astronaut, and that's not really helping me here.
Yeah, astronauts don't usually do well
can,
underground.
Yeah. Well, let's do that. Hey, yeah. So distinction there, and then a D8 for enhanced senses to help me along, and then also science expert. So another D8. So D10, 2D8, and a D4.
All right.
All right, I'm rolling right now. And I've got, I've got a 3 8s and a 2. So that would be I've got a 16 total. And let's see, 16 total and a D10 as an effect. But I've also got a 2, which with my not in the stars would be counted as an opportunity.
Okay.
And do I get a plot point? Do I get a plot point for that? For that opportunity?
Yes, I am going to give you that plot point. And I'm
Okay.
going to step up the doom pool as a result.
All right. Then I've got 2 PPs.
Okay.
That should be my turn. There you go.
Let's go.
And I will.
Well, let me tell you what happens.
Oh, sure.
Okay. So you sniff the air, and you test the currents, and you kind of study the walls and try to get an idea of what past people have done by markings, by foot traffic, by the rise and fall of scent in the air. And after several turns and a few blind alleys, a few dead ends, you begin to hear chirping, and you hear bells, and you hear wah, 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 and you hear all the sounds of your classic video game arcade. And sure enough, as you part through, you find yourself in a dingy, it looks like one of the worst kind of like built into the side of an existing building, right at the beach, where it's there to make somebody some money and not to look pretty, and it's hardly ever kept clean, and everything's covered in dust, and it's a ratty, disgusting arcade. But it's an arcade. It's a video arcade. Lots of games, and they all have different variations on similar themes. There's some pinball games. There's some regular games, what have you. So that's where you find yourself. I'm sorry. Now, who did you want to pass to?
You said who is gone and who is left?
You can either give it to me or you can give it to Nightcrawler.
Okay. How many do you have left?
I just have I have I don't have any monsters, but there are things that I can do. So if you want to pass it to me.
Yeah, or you can pass it to you. That way, Nightcrawler can get the last turn.
Okay. So, in that case, I am going to go down here. Okay. And okay. All right. I need everyone to create a dice pool to resist. You can't see anything, but something is gnawing at your mind. It's some kind of psychic attack. You don't know it's a psychic attack. You just feel this presence gnawing at you from inside. This strange urge and anger and just dark emotion welling up within you. So everybody, there are 2 opportunities out there from this roll. You must beat a 13, and your effect die is D12.
Okay, let's see here. So this is some sort of psychic attack, or
You don't know if it's psychic. You don't know. It just feels dark impulses within your mind,
gotcha.
welling up within you, and you just feel nasty,
Okay.
dark and nasty.
I'm thinking probably none of these physical powers are going to apply on this.
Probably not something you're going to be able to use physical powers to defend against.
Okay.
If anybody has psychic resistance, that might help.
Enhanced senses.
Enhanced senses, you can definitely use.
Okay, cool. Got that. As far as like specialties, would you feel that any of those might apply?
Well, if you have, let's see. Right now, I would say that you can probably use Psych Expert.
Okay.
I'll take that opportunity. How much for a plot point? What does that give me?
For opportunities, you have a couple of choices. Let me go back to that page. And
Possibly linking my senses.
Purchasing an opportunity. You can either use it to trigger any special effects or limits that can be used by taking advantage of an opportunity. You can use it to step up an asset you've just created, or you are in the process of creating. Or you can use it to create a resource during an action scene, which is you are in now. Or you can either give yourself a D8 push die instead of a D6, or a D10 stunt die instead of a D8.
You know what? Change my mind on that. I will see enhanced senses. I'll take a D4. Okay, I'm ready to roll right now.
All right, go right ahead.
So I've got a D10 for solo. I've got a D4 for a negative distinction, because I'm just generally confused. Any kind of scene distinction I'll take as negative, because I just have no idea where I am. And then enhanced senses for a D8.
All right. Everyone else needs to get their dice pools together as well.
All right.
Yeah.
But
So
Marlon, you go first.
yeah, rolling dice now. So I've got a 13.
Okay.
Let's see. So hold on, let me think this through. I could take the 12 and then I could put that aside and then that aside. Maybe 1, or I could spend that one to beat it right now and then end up with 2. So you know what? I will add to. Are you okay with me adding a third die, even though I took a negative distinction?
You can definitely add a third die to your total. That's always permissible, regardless of what you chose for distinctions.
Okay. I have there's another game that I'm playing that the GM frowns upon that. And I'm not exactly sure why. But
Nope, that's permissible.
Okay, so I'm spending a plot point to add a third die. So I've got I've got a 15 with a D4 effect. But
Okay.
that's enough to beat it, right?
It is enough to beat the total.
Okay.
However, because it's a D4 effect die, if you attempt to use another plot point to add an asset, the fact that my effect die is so much higher than yours will actually no, it doesn't work that way.
No.
It only works no, you can use that D4 effect die if you choose to basically try to suss out what is causing it by creating an asset to that effect.
No, I just want to survive right now.
Okay, very well. Then I just need the total.
The plot point.
Okay, so that's
one
one plot point down for Mamwolf.
2 plot points.
You said you spent 2?
I spent 1 to get that extra die, and I got 1 for the negative distinction. So
okay, so you're still at 2 then.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Nightcrawler and Terror.
Okay, so let's see. I've got the psychic buzzing going on in my head. So I think I'm going to roll my solo d6. Actually, what I'm going to do is just kind of try to steel myself mentally against this thing.
Okay.
I was hoping to try and create a stunt for a plot point, which I think would be a d10, which was going to be just saying like Nightcrawler's hung around a lot of telepaths and maybe he's picked up just a tiny sliver of that whole mental shielding thing, even though he's not very good at it. So he's going to attempt to remember how that works and try to do that.
Okay.
So I've got solo d6. I'm going to go probably dashing swashbuckler d8. And then no powers on this one, just my, I think what was it going to be? Oh yeah, sorry, senses d8. And then it'll be the d10 for the stunt. So I'm just going to call psychic, I don't know, shielding or something. So here we go. Not rolling too good. I have 2 1s, and then I have a total of 12. No effect
Okay.
dice, so I guess D4.
Okay, so I'm going to grow the Doom Pool. Get to my page where I can do that. I'm going to add 2 more D6, so you get 2 plot points.
Okay, that brings me up to 3.
Okay, and now, do you want to spend a plot point to increase your total, or can you do that?
I cannot.
Okay. All right, so let me make sure I chronicle this all correctly.
Nightcrawler's having a bad day.
Complication, D12. All right, so you feel this questioning in your mind, and then it kind of becomes a certainty, and this primal, just determined darkness overwhelms your mind, and you start thinking about how you're going to get out of here, and you're going to get to the end of this, and anybody who stands in your way is going to feel the blade of the blade of your sword in their backs. You have I gotta get the exact name of the distinction here, of the complication here. Let me grab that real quick. I have a name specifically for this. That's not it. Oh, now I'm not going to find it. Oh, here we go. You have a only I should get out alive. D12 psych. Basically, you're it's a complication, but it's basically your mind is being altered in such a way that your moral compass has been just torn and is ripped and molded and reoriented toward purely selfish, greedy, violent turn. All right, terror.
All right. So I've been staring at this for a while now. And can I take menace as a defense against this?
You know, you're used to the darkness of your mind. And so, yes, I will allow menace to serve.
All right. Then I'm rolling 2d10 and a d4.
Okay. You have to beat a 13.
That's a 14 with a d4 effect.
Okay. Do you resist, you feel it, and you feel that kind of urge and darkness coming in, but it's just background noise for you. Do you want to try to suss out why this is coming in using your reaction to create an asset? Do you have a plot point to spend?
I just got one from negative distinction.
Okay.
So I think I'll hold on to that.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Everybody. Nightcrawler, have you gone yet? I don't think I checked you off.
I think that was a reaction I just did, so still got to do an action.
Okay, so you are up.
Okay. Okay, so I've poofed onto the other side of the door, had this whole mental shift towards the darkness. And after I kind of take a minute and just kind of, I'm reeling from all this stuff that's going through my head, all these dark thoughts, I'm going to just kind of try to snap out of it and just go, no, like I got to get through this.
Okay, so you're going to try to attack the distinction? Attack the complication, rather?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. It's a D12.
Okay.
So unless you roll a D12 effect die, you're only going to be able to step it down by 1.
Okay.
So right now, it's almost overwhelming.
And is the Doom Pool, what is it now, 2d8? Or
no, it's changed quite a bit since then. It is currently 4d6, 3d8.
4d6, 3d8.
And I have your complication to use against you.
Okay, I don't like these odds too much, so maybe I'll do something else. Is it possible, did we decide if Manwolf had kind of shouted out to get our attention?
You do hear something, but it's not enough to give you direction. You can tell that there's a voice out there.
Okay.
But you don't know what they said. You really can't make out who it was. And all it does is tell you there's prey out there for you to hunt.
I like that. Okay. And
somebody else has broken free of their space, and they're out there in the maze.
Got it. Okay, so if I have those swords of mine, I'd like to just kind of be holding them out now, just ready to find a target.
All right. So we had discussed that when you're using your swords, you're going to have your combat be split die instead of your regular die.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think for now I've just got them out. I don't have anything in my sights just yet.
Yep.
So let's go ahead. I think I just want to kind of prowl around and just look for somebody.
Okay. So you have to make a dice pool around to try to navigate the maze.
Okay. I'd like to be doing so kind of stealthily too.
Okay, so just make your dice pool around that.
All right. So I've got solo D6. I want to go demonic appearance D8. Just my blue fur helping me kind of blend into, hopefully there's some shadows somewhere. Let's see. I think I'll go invisibility D6. And then let's go ahead and do covert D8. And I guess this is rolling against the Doom Pool.
You are.
Okay. And the effect would be like, would it be an asset perhaps, or what would you call this?
The effect is, if you succeed, you're going to have an asset available to you.
Okay.
Actually, no. This is just to navigate. this will simply let you. This won't really give you an asset. It will just allow you to have a place to wind up.
Okay. All right, so I'm rolling 2d6, 2d8. Here we go. Looks like I've got I'm gonna go ahead and spend one of my plot points to add a third die to the total. That's gonna be 18 total with D4 effect. And then I did roll an opportunity.
Okay. I'm not going to purchase that opportunity.
Okay.
And okay. It takes you a little while to kind of go through. You listen for the voice again, but you don't hear it. There's a lot of different sounds from different areas that none of them ever seem to get close. But then you start to hear voices, lots of individual voices. And you see the flash of light back and forth ahead of you, and you walk through, and you find yourself in a carnival big top. And you look around and you hear, "Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please draw your attention to the impenetrable tent trap that surrounds you, preventing all escape." Impenetrable tent trap, by the way, is a scene distinction for this room. "If you want to get out alive, all 3 of the ringside shows must be completed. Tame the wild cats, soar through the air with the flying Murderworld family, laugh along with the clowns. Then you will have earned your ticket out of the big top." And in fact, you do see in the ring to one side a cage full of robotic wild cats. You have up in the skies, you see more robots dressed in acrobat uniforms swinging back and forth on trapeze. And you see in one of the other of the 3 rings, you see a group of clowns, and they are performing what looks to be a reenactment of the Stamford tragedy that resulted in the superheroic Civil War. They are just kind of milling about right now, going through and acting like the new warriors and various villains. And there is one clown in particular that looks like Nitro. So it's a robot dressed as a clown dressed as Nitro. And in the stands all around are a bunch of robotic audience members, and they're all booing and hissing and just throwing containers of uneaten food and drink your way. And that is the end of the round, and this is the point where we're going to take our break. So we'll be back in a short while to continue Murderworld. And welcome back. All right. We had just left with Nightcrawler having stumbled across the big top and presented with 3 diabolical traps that he needed to navigate in order to be able to leave this area and progress forward, or he could always turn back the way he came and just try to find some other way. And we had Terror still trying to find his way out of his room, and we had Manwolf in an arcade, in Arcade's arcade, and just presented with the room. So, looking at how we are in terms of initiative-wise, well, looks like I think Nightcrawler was the last in the turn order, if I
Yeah.
remember correctly. So we're resetting. So Nightcrawler, who do you want to go first?
I think I'm going to turn it over to Terror.
All right, Terror. You can try to find another way out by making another roll against the Doom Pool, or you can choose the path that you had already gone through.
Being perfectly honest, I don't see a way I can roll higher than the Doom Pool, so I'll take the path in front of me.
Okay. You pass through, step out, and you find yourself in that same maze situation. And go ahead and decide how you want to proceed.
I'll do my best to navigate. I'm looking for Manwolf.
Okay. So go ahead and roll against the Doom Pool to navigate.
All right. That would be solo D10. Take another D4 distinction. And is that going to be it? That might be it. Weapon. Spend a plot point for a stunt die, like try and scoop my eye out and toss it up, get a look around. And yeah, none of my specialties count either. I think I will do that. I think I'll spend the plot point.
Okay.
And roll. That is a 9 with a... God dang it, Growing Dread. It's a 9 with a D4 effect and a hitch on the D10.
Okay.
Limit strikes again, huh?
That's a doozy of a limit.
Yeah.
So let me see, navigation-wise, where that puts you. No, that's too far. I need to find my navigator again. There it is. All right. So I rolled a 13, which means you end up here. Okay. You walk through, and you begin to also hear the cheering and the other noises, and you step out into this room, and it's a dead end. But then the door shuts behind you, and then the floor begins to rise up. And as you look up around, you find yourself entering into a caged area that is full of these robotic big cats. Beyond, you see a big top and a jeering crowd, and way off in toward the one of the exits between the stands, you can see Nightcrawler standing there. You are in the big cat trap. All right, so that got you there. Now, who do you want to pass to?
I'll pass to Nightcrawler, I guess.
All right, Nightcrawler, you see this Frankensteinish looking this piecemeal guy with a metallic hand.
Bright green skin.
Yeah, go ahead and describe yourself, please.
So yeah, most of what you can notice is the trench coat, but I've also got you can see glinting metal from my right hand, and the skin on my face is green, and I have 6 spikes coming off like a cartoonish cat whiskers, and sunken dead eyes.
And the thing you also notice is that even from here, you can tell this flesh is rotting on the bone. This is not this. This looks like an animated corpse of a person. So,
Okay. Well, given that I'm currently in this uncharacteristically bloodthirsty mood, I think I see myself a victim. And so I think I'm going to try to teleport into that cage where he is.
okay. So you are going to go now. You have a compulsion to do this. You are not required to do it. You are not under watcher control. So you can choose to enter the arena and go after him, or you can choose to go after the cats and incidentally sides, extra effect die, wound him, whatever you want to do.
Okay. Let's see.
But you've chosen the big cat. So what is your attack?
I think I'm going to, let's see. Yeah, I like your extra effect die idea. So I think I'm going to go, let's see. I'm going to teleport in there and maybe just, I don't know if I'm attacking quite yet. I think for now I'm just kind of seeing what's going on. Trying to think of what to make this. I don't have menace, so I can't menace him. Let's see. Okay, I think I will go after the cats just for now.
Okay.
I'm going to go solo D6 just to attack them with my swords. Let's go dashing swashbuckler D8. Let's go teleport D8 so I can get in there. And then I guess I'll go combat expert. Let's make it 2d6. And here we go. All right, so no opportunities, but I have a 14 with the d6 effect die to, I guess, attack those cats.
Okay. All right, so this is a mob. And they are, let's see.
I guess I'm playing this as I'm frustrated with everything that's going on and I just want to trash arcade stuff.
Gotcha. You said it was a 14?
Yeah, 14d6.
Right. Well, let's see. Best total is, okay, so I'm rolling 3d10 and a d8. And, oh, I forgot to put in the, that's 2d8 actually, because there is I forgot to put in the distinction, which is, oh, not that one. Lethal entertainment. Okay, so that is a 16. As the cats slash at you to try to bat you away and dodge and run out of the way and scatter around the room. Your attack goes wide and you miss your attack. And you said you had an opportunity there?
No opportunities on this one.
Okay. I do have an opportunity for you if you want to grab it.
Let's see. We got 2 plot points at the moment. I'll go ahead and buy it. And could that be a stunt on a future roll, or?
Yeah, you can you can create a stunt and you just define what it is the next round.
Okay, yeah,
Okay,
let's do.
so just hold on to that. All right. And I'll keep forgetting to include your complications in here and your stress. So I'll have to remember that next time. All right. Man Wolf, you are, I think, well, actually, you decide. Are you passing the Man Wolf or to the big cats?
Let's actually pass it over to those cats.
All right. The cats, let me go back to my stats here. The robotic cats are going to try to, do I have area attack on these guys? No, but I do have pride tactics, so I am going to use that. So we are going to have them go after, they're going to have to go after Nightcrawler because that's the one who attacked him first. And so that is 3d10, lethal d8, fangs and claws d8. Where's my thing? There we go, remove. 3d10 for mob. 2d8 there, and I have pride. Where's my thing? Here it is. Pride tactics. Step up or double any big tap power for one action. So I'm going to change that d8 to a d10. I'll remove that and add another d10. Okay, so I am rolling. That is, you have to beat an 18. If you are unable to beat it, you will take D10 physical stress, which will replace your D4 physical stress from earlier.
Okay. And I guess I had considered attacking Terror, but I think we would be buddy now. Is that right?
And I, again, forgot to put in your complication.
Oh, whoops.
So since you haven't rolled yet, well, I've already rolled. I got to remember to do that. So go ahead and use your thing. I keep forgetting to use your stuff against you.
No problem. Let's see here. I have one plot point. Oh yeah, I've got that stunt. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm just going to be teleporting around here, just trying to avoid them in general.
Okay.
I don't think I can use my flurry of teleportation effect because it says against a single target. Is that right?
Yeah, this is a mob. So this would not be a single target.
Okay. Let's go buddy D10. I think I'm going to go. I'll go ahead and go dashing swashbuckler D8. Let's make it teleport D8. And then I'll throw in acrobatics master D10. And then that stunt D10, which I guess now is just Nightcrawler kind of doing a whole gymnastic routine around this, environment, just trying to get out of the reach of these things. I'm imagining they can jump pretty high.
Well, I mean, they're already big cats, plus they're robots. So
yeah, it's like super jumps. Let's go. Oh my gosh, this is horrible. I rolled one opportunity.
Okay.
And then I'm going to add a third die to my total for a 16 total with the D8 effect.
Okay, 16 does not cut it. So you are going to get slashed as you bamf in out. Several of them take swipes at you, but they're coordinating. And it's almost like they're anticipating where you're going to pop in, because when you pop in at one point, one of them just pounces on you and takes a good old bite into your chest, and you feel just intense pain as blood begins to gush out. It rips back, and you feel you're messed up. So that is a D10 to physical, which I am going to use one of these against you. We can get rid of that D8 because that's an asset you've already burned through. All right, Big Cat has gone. So
Did you buy the opportunity, or?
Let's see. Yes, go ahead and take that opportunity, and I'm going to step up one of my D6s into a D8.
1.
All right, so that means now we are down to Man-Wolf. Now, Man-Wolf, you've entered this arcade. Most of the games appear to be in not an out of order status, but none of them have their start buttons lit up. One of them, however, which says Buzzkill, is on if you want to go ahead and play it. Or you can choose to go back into the maze and try to find your way through.
Can I roll a I roll for what's the doom pool right now?
The doom pool is back to it. 3d6, 4d8.
48. Okay. I'd like to roll an asset for some kind of awareness of my surroundings using my science background to figure out maybe where this video game is plugged into, where it might be coming from, where it might be feeding into, who might look around, just get an awareness of my surroundings and create some kind of asset might help me
to try to find your way out, basically.
Yeah, to find my way out, or even to figure out where I am, really.
Okay.
Or
go ahead and make that roll then.
All right. So solo D10. Again, being son of J. Jonah Jameson, kind of thick-headed, and trying to look for the most brutish way out of here, which doesn't help me. So I'll take that as a negative distinction, and then enhanced senses for a D8,
okay.
and then a tech or science expert for another D8.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll roll that. So I got a D10, 2D8, and a D4. So rolling now. Oh, okay. Jesus. I got a 7 total, a D8, a D8, what do you call it? D8 effect, and then a 2 on a D4. So that's an opportunity, possibly for you.
Okay. I'll take that opportunity. So it's going to be now 2 and 5 for D6 and D8. And you said you rolled a 7?
Yeah.
Okay. So I rolled the 12. So you are basically fiddling around with the arcade system, tracing chords, trying to figure your way and try to get some kind of sense of where you are. When you're doing that, your claw accidentally goes into one of the open plug receptacles. I am going to spend a D8 to use my D8 effect die to give you D8 physical stress. As a result of that jolt of electricity.
Okay.
So you now have D8 physical stress from that jolt, and unfortunately you were not able to glean anything from that. Okay, there is you, D8. All right, that is the end of the round. Who would you like to pass to? Your choices are Nightcrawler, Terror, or the Big Cats.
Let's go with the Big Cat.
All right, Big Cat Diaries. Let's go ahead and they've already wounded one, and they've lost sight on Terror, so they're going to go ahead and make an attempt on Terror. Let me clear my dice. That's 3d10 because they are a mob. Lethal D8. Attack D8. Terror does not have any distinctions against him or anything like that, so he's fine there. I'm going to Let's see. I'm not going to use any special effects here. I'm just going to do a straight roll. So let's go ahead and roll. You must beat a 17 or be affected by D10 physical stress.
Oh, I think we lost your mic there.
Well, sorry, what was your total?
Total of 17 with a D10 effect die.
Oh boy. All right, let's roll D10. Or no, would this be solo or buddy?
Yeah, that is up to you. If he chose buddy when he did it, but if you choose solo, that means he can't pass you any assets. He can't do anything to help you in any way. So it's up to you if you want to use buddy or solo.
I will use solo. Actually, you know what? I'll stick to buddy. I've got a D8 there.
Okay. So since he did buddy and you did buddy, you can always pass him an asset with an extra effect die or what you want to do.
Cool.
Then rotting corpse D8, weapon D8, and would menace come into play here, or?
Do you think you'll be able to menace a bunch of robotic?
Probably not.
Yeah.
There are more than there are of me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my 3d8 then, which could beat a 17. Can't beat a D10 effect, but I have an SFX for that, so it's fine. Actually, no, can't beat it. And I rolled a hitch anyway. So that's a 12 with a D4 effect die, but I will spend a plot point to ignore all physical stress or trauma with my invulnerability.
Wow, that's a good one.
That is a very good use of a die. So one of them does leap on you, knock you down, and takes several good slashes at your back, and comes up with, and the rot is so, you're so mushy there that it was like slicing through Jello. It kind of just meshes back together afterward, and it steps off of you angrily, and you kind of roll back to your feet. And you're like, okay, this is fine. Everything's burning around me. This is fine. All right.
Yeah, I'll pass the Nightcrawler.
Well, that was my attack.
Oh. Then.
So Man-Wolf. So I'm going to pass. So I can choose between either you or Nightcrawler. I am going to pass. I am actually going to pass to Nightcrawler. That was my plan originally, anyway. So Nightcrawler, you have seen Terror basically take a good slashing from these metallic claws unscathed, and the cats don't appear to be any worse for wear. What are you going to do?
I'm going to look over at my buddy here and just say, let's get out of here.
All right. So you're going to try to teleport the both of you?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So that's going to require, since you're teleporting two people, you're going to need 2 effect die.
Okay. Oh, let's see here. Guess we could go.
And that's going to be against the Doom Pool.
Okay.
So what would I say that was again? That was 2d6 and 4d8.
All right. Oh, let's go ahead and
also, Terror, are you going to be a willing participant in this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because otherwise it would be an attack, and you'd be rolling against him, not the Doom Pool.
all right.
Okay.
I mean, that might be easier, but either way.
It's up to you. Are you a willing participant or no?
I definitely want to get out of here.
Okay. Then you're willing.
Yeah.
All right. So I think the pool I'm going to go with is, let's see, Buddy D10. Let's go Dashing Swashbuckler D8. Actually, no, make that D4 with the plot point. and teleport D8. And let's go ahead and make it, I guess we'll go Acrobatic Master 2D8.
Alright.
Just try to get the heck out of here. Okay, so there's another opportunity if you want to buy that.
Okay.
And looks like, I guess my total is going to be 19. And then I'm going to spend a plot point to have a extra effect. Oh no, I guess I won't because I don't have any leftover dice. Let's see, what could I do here?
Well, you would be able to default to a D4 for an extra effect die.
Okay. I guess I'll have a 19 total. We'll keep that nice D10 for me, and then I'll give my buddy Terror here the D4.
Okay. So I rolled an opportunity.
Okay.
So either of you, since you're in buddy situation, can claim that if you want. And I rolled a 15. So you grab hold of Terror by the arm. You both disappear. Nightcrawler, you reappear basically anywhere in the room you want. Terror basically reemerges apart from you outside of the cage. So he's out, but he's not very far from danger.
Okay.
It's theoretically possible that one of them could reach through and hit him. So he's free, but he's not out of danger.
Okay. I think I did want to buy that opportunity to get another stunt on the next turn if possible.
Okay.
That leaves me with 1 plot point.
Oh wait, I have.
And then Nightcrawler, do you want to pass that to Terror or do you want to pass it to me?
Let's go ahead and pass it over to you.
Okay. The boos from the crowd are palpable. They are screaming at you and they, coward, face them. You have to face the challenge. And they start throwing everything. I mean, they're throwing chairs. They're throwing other people. I mean, they're just incensed by this active display of cowardice. And let's see, they are, let me go ahead and get back where I was. Okay. They are going to okay. And then several of them stand up, their eyes light up, and Cyclops style, they all start blasting the area with photon beams. So this is going to be an area attack. So I'm going to be targeting both of you. So that is 3 of those, 1 of those, that, and then an extra D6. So, okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember in my head when I go to my next screen. And because you're the primary target, Nightcrawler, I am going to use your D10 physical stress against you to help prevent you from getting out of the way. So I am rolling, and okay, you both have to beat a total of 15. I'm keeping an extra effect die, which is okay. So there are 2d10 effect die in play.
Right.
Terror, do you want to do your reaction first?
Yeah, what are we trying to beat?
15.
All right, so that
So
will...
photon beams coming at you. Physical stress is what we're dealing.
Oh boy, I can deal with that.
Now, I want to remind everybody, you can choose to change the type of stress done by spending a plot point. So Nightcrawler, if you don't want to have this become physical stress stepping you up to a D12, you can choose to have it be emotional stress instead.
Gotcha.
If you fail.
Okay.
Either way, I will roll solo D10, D4, distinction, weapon D8, and would menace count? Probably not again, right?
I really wouldn't think menace would be applicable here.
I mean, could I argue medical?
What would be your argument?
I mean, I'm a walking corpse. Essentially, what I would do is sacrifice the deadest part of me to take the hit.
I will allow that argument.
I like it.
And I do have that one plot point remaining. I'll roll. Oh, no, now I have 2. That's an opportunity on the D4, 16 total D10 effect die.
16 total? Okay.
Yep.
I am not taking advantage of that opportunity. You have beat my 15, so you do not suffer the effect. You can, if you want, retaliate with your effect die to try to harm the crowd, or you can just dodge.
I will just dodge.
Okay.
For a moment.
All right. And Kurt, what is your role?
Okay, so on this reaction, I'm going to go Buddy D10. I'd like to use Demonic Appearance D8. This isn't my first time having an angry mob after me. Let's go ahead and do Superhuman Reflexes D10. I'm just going to be flipping out of the way and kind of taunting them at the same time.
Okay.
And then I'm going to split Acrobatics Master to 2D8. And I'd like to add that stunt from the opportunity I bought for D10.
Okay.
I'm just going to call it Nina, Nina, Nina. And I wound up with 1 opportunity for a total of 17 effect ID 10.
17. All right, fantastic. You also, despite your injuries, managed to stay out of the way of the bombardment of photon blasts. And you hear Arcade's voice go, "Oh, are we going after the angry mob instead of the angry challenges? You know what? If that's what you want to do, they're just as deadly as anything in the cages. Go after them. One way or the other, you're not making it out of here alive." All right, so that was, let me get back to my counter, which is here. That was Manwolf and Nightcrawler having acted this turn. The crowd has acted. I believe Terror is all that's left.
Do you mean Manwolf?
Did Terror already act? Because I have Manwolf checked off. He was first in the row.
Oh, then I guess I'm... Oh, yeah, no, I've reacted. I haven't acted.
That's correct.
All right. I'm assuming this mob is robots. What with the laser eyes?
Yes, everybody in this crowd is a robot.
God dang it! Isn't anything here made of meat?
Kurt.
I am, yeah.
Well, unless you want to donate an arm.
That's okay.
You would gain the abilities that arm can provide. So I think he has wall
It
crawling.
would be really good if I could steal his arm, but not going to do that right now.
Yeah.
What I am going to do is pick up some of the garbage they're throwing at me and hurl it straight back.
Okay.
So that'll be solo D10.
I'll allow that to be part of the distinction for the room.
Okay. So that'll be a D8 distinction rather than one of mine.
Yep.
All right. Weapon D8 and I can't menace these robots, so that's it.
So I'm going to gather my pool for the robots.
And I will be rolling. Can I spend anything? No, that's fine. I'll just roll it.
Doesn't sound good.
Dread grows. 11 with a D4 effect.
11 with the D4 effect. Okay. Then okay. I only got a 9. All right. So, and I also have an opportunity available. The effect die is D10 though. You said it was a D4?
Yes.
So since my effect die was higher, that reduces that to nothing. So you hit, but you didn't do anything.
Yeah. I will buy that opportunity though.
Unless you want to try and step up the effect die with a plot point, I think you can have the ability to do that, right? No, that's not true.
Yeah, no.
That's not one of the rules. Okay, forget it. I was mistaking. So, you could always add an extra effect die to do something else.
I'm out of dice.
You're out of dice? Okay.
Yeah, it would be a D4 effect die.
All right. Then null round. Nothing happened as a result of that. You threw, and it just kind of bounced off the armor hide of one of the robots.
Hey, it was worth a try.
That restarts the round. Now, because Terror, you can always say, I'm passing it back to myself since the round has started over, or you can pass it to somebody else.
I am going to think about it and pass it to Manwolf.
All right, Manwolf. You're still in the arcade. It's making all the typical noises. And you are still befuddled as to where you are in relation to any exit other than the one you came through.
I haven't played that Buzzkill game, right?
You have not played the Buzzkill game.
Okay, then I'll play the Buzzkill game.
Excellent. You activate the button, and you see on your display it says Buzzkill, Terror at the Big Top. And you have control over a swarm of digital wasps, and you see a big top with 3 rings and a crowd going like this and holding up boo signs, and you see 2 figures moving about the room, one of them popping here and there, the other one just sort of standing and still. And it appears that the object of the game is to score points by eliminating any hostiles on the screen.
Okay. Now I would recognize. Would I know Nightcrawler? Is he popular enough that I would know him? Or
I mean, he's not the main subject of your dad's rants or anything, but
maybe in some cursory research.
You might know of Nightcrawler. You know that he's one of the 2 people other than yourself who was trapped here.
Yeah.
But it doesn't necessarily look like Nightcrawler. It's just this generic figure popping around the screen.
Okay. But in the video game, I could, in the wasps that I could control, do I have a clear sign of the of knowing what is hostile to them that I could affect?
Well, you can choose to attack the crowd. There's a cage of cats. There's a cage of clowns, and there's some trapeze artists up top. But none of those people appear to be doing anything at the moment toward the two figures. The only thing you see is the crowd. Occasionally, a beam of energy emanates from the crowd towards both of these other people.
Okay, then I think I would like to use my wasps to attack the crowd. If those are the ones, if I'm connecting that Nightcrawler is my ally, that he maybe. I mean, I'm making an assumption here that I'm putting together that this represents him somewhere, and I understand that, and that there might be something hostile against him. And if I have the power to attack something hostile, then I will do that.
Very
So
good.
if my assumptions are correct, then that's what I'll do.
All right. So go ahead and make a dice pool. You are not using your power set for this.
Okay.
I will. No way for me to share my screen, but let's see. Okay. Your power set. Actually, I can probably copy and paste this into the chat, or not the chat, but the Discord, so that you can see it. Or it's not going to let me. Why am I doing wrong? That wasn't what I wanted. No, it's not going to let me. Okay, I'll just read it to you. You have a swarm of, let's see, you have basically Sting at D8, Enhanced Flight at D8, or just plain old Swarm at 5D6. And you have an area attack option. And you have the stinging special effect, which basically adds a d6 to your dice pool for an attack action, and steps back the highest die by -1, and steps up stress by +1. And then the limit is basically that your swarm can be attacked to reduce if you have just like a normal mob would reduce the swarm die instead of attacking their stress dice.
Okay.
So you have control over that.
Okay, then I would like to. I'd like to use that whatever the attack. I think you said it was a D8, some kind of blast.
The sting, the D8 stings.
Yeah, sting. Yeah, that's it. I'd like to use that as a D8 and also use an area attack against the mob.
Okay, so you add that to your dice pool of your regular data file.
How many D6s do I get from that? Or
how
many is in the mob?
The mob is a 3d10 mob, so you would get an additional 2d6 on top of your attack.
Okay. Can I also use my tech expert as I'm figuring out how this video game works and how it might be related to something that's going on right now?
Absolutely.
Okay. Then I've got, let's see, D10 for solo, D8 for, what are the scene distinctions again?
This is let me go back to it. in your room, you have basically a. Let me go. I've actually had it written down. Give me back there. Sorry, I'm moving around too much. Too many things going on at once. The arcade. That's not it. Starter rooms. Murderworld arcade. Okay, this room didn't have any distinctions associated with it, so I'm gonna create one right here. Basically, we'll call it a at the controls scene distinction. Since you have basically mirroring the fact that you have these controls at your disposal rather than being physically there, and also through the looking glass, mirroring the fact that you're using a screen instead of being there as well.
Then I'll use that as a D8. Before I do that, can I use my limit of changing, shutting down pseudo lycanthropy? Since I'm not using those powers anyway, right?
You can activate a limit anytime you want to.
Okay, then I'd like to, since I'm not using those powers, I'd like to activate my limit to go back to just being regular dude.
Okay, then you are a human again, and you take a plot point for that.
Yeah. Okay. So right now I've got a D10, a 3D8, and a 2D6 to roll for this.
All right.
What am I rolling against? Am I just rolling against the Doom Pool?
No, you're rolling against the robots. You're rolling against the crowd.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Then I'm rolling it right now. Let's go. So roll all dice. I've got. Could have been better. I've got a 10 total. That was a good thing I switched that. I don't have that limited that the what do you call it? The not in the stars anymore, because I'm not using a pseudo lycanthropy power. Otherwise, it would have been 4 opportunities. So so I've got a 10 total and a D8, but let me add a die to make it 12. So a 12 total. A 12 total and a D8 effect.
Okay. And let me roll my dice. Okay, you have an opportunity there. And sorry, what was the total one more time?
12.
Okay. All right. So Nightcrawler and Terror. Against the jeering crowds, you also begin to hear this buzzing noise. And the swarm of just big metal wasps comes flying out of nowhere. I mean, it just comes up from behind the rafters and starts swarming and spinning around the air. And you're thinking, well, that's going to hurt. And all of a sudden, the swarm comes down on the crowd and just begins stinging at various members of the crowd. It doesn't appear to have any effect at the moment, but they are the robots are turned against other robots at this moment. And it might be an edge you don't know. So adding this confusion of what's going on. Why is the arcade turning on itself? Why is the murder world turning on itself? All right, so that is.
Wait, hold on. I will buy that opportunity to make it a getting the hang of it asset.
Okay, so you're
spending a plot point.
Okay, so to add an extra effect die, basically, because your attack failed.
Yeah.
Your attack
yeah,
failed.
But
So
there was an opportunity.
oh, you're buying the opportunity. Okay, yes. Okay, I misunderstood. Okay, yep, you got that opportunity.
Yeah.
You got that opportunity purchased, and you have that asset.
What is? Okay. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So now who are you passing
Okay.
to?
Yeah. Who's left?
Your start is the start of the turn. So you have either myself or the two other players.
I'll give it to Nightcrawler.
All right.
All right. So I'd like to say that, when I teleported away from that angry, well, I guess I didn't teleport, I was dodging the angry crowd's garbage and chairs and things they were throwing, right?
Yep.
If possible, I'd like to, just as like a free movement thing, just get up to where the trapeze is by teleporting.
Okay.
And I'll just kind of yell out to Arcade, hey Arcade, like I beat your stupid kitties, like, that counts as winning the challenge. Like, what's next? Let's see. I think I'm going to take a shot at this whole trapeze setup.
So you're attacking the trapeze artists or attacking the trapeze itself?
What is the trapeze challenge exactly?
You're basically battling the robots on the trapeze. It's another mob.
Okay.
So you can choose to engage with them, or you can choose to engage the mob below.
Okay. I think
it's just basically different powers. They're built on the same basic framework. They just have different power sets.
Okay. I think I'll take my chances up here with my whole circus background. I'm going to say like, hey guys, amateur hour is over. Like, watch how a professional does it. I'm going to try to grab onto a trapeze and maybe like leap and slam into one of them.
Okay.
All right. So if I could roll my buddy D10 still, hopefully. I'm going to go dashing swashbuckler D8. And we'll do leaping D8. And we'll go ahead and do our typical acrobatics master 2d8. And if I could just roll to attack, I guess I have to target the whole mob, right?
You have to attack the mob. Yeah. Well, you can attack. When you attack, your effect die will reduce the team die if it surpasses a D10. So if you get a D12, it will eliminate a mob die. If you get a D10 or lower, you're just building toward eliminating the mob die.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and roll this. Looks like I came up. I guess I will spend a plot point to add a third die to the total to make it 15d8. And no opportunities.
Okay.
Oh, and if I could hit my 1 XP milestone just for quipping, I think that's what he gets it for.
Rabbit. Yeah, if anybody has hit any of your milestones, note it for me, please. And grab your XP. So... move. Okay, and rolling. I have 2 opportunities there. And that was a total of 17. What was your total?
15.
15. Okay. So as you were plowing toward, you flip and acrobat and fly toward one of them to knock them off of their trapeze and send them down. The acrobat you were coming for teleports away.
Hmm.
And you go flying past, and you grab hold of the trapeze that they were on and catch yourself and flip back around, and then they reappear on one of the platforms on either side of the trapeze and ready their attack. So now we have either terror or the crowd or the trapeze artist's turn.
Let's go ahead and do the trapeze artists.
Okay. Before we do that, my doom pool is now at, let me go ahead, 5d8 and 1d10. I'm going to spend that d10, And Arcade goes, "No fair using my tricks against me. I think it's time you joined the others." Man-Wolf, Jameson, the floor beneath the arcade booth vanishes and drops down, and you go and go sliding and boom, flip, 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 and you are spat out in the big top, landing in the center ring. Above you, Nightcrawler is battling the trapeze artists. Terror is off to the side next to the big cats. The swarm is attacking the crowd, and the crowd is attacking the swarm. So you are now all together and have the opportunity, if you show desire, to start using team dice. All right, so that being said, the trapeze artists are going after Nightcrawler. 3d10. I'm going to do a d4 for their robotic nature because they're not quite as acrobatic as Nightcrawler is. And they're going to use their superhuman reflexes on this one to try to get in a position to harm him. So that is 3d10, d4, and d8. No, 3d10, 3d4, and d10. So it's 4d10 and a d4. All right, so clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Rolling, and that is a crap roll. You must beat a 14 with a d10 effect die to avoid getting basically clobbered by swinging acrobats.
Okay. Let's see here. If I could I exchange that 1 XP I just got for a plot point?
Yes, actually you can. That is something that is legal.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do that. That means I have 1 plot point at least. And then I'm going to go Buddy D10. I'll once again do Dashing Swashbuckler D8. It's going to be Reflexes D10, and then Acrobatic Master 2D8. And I'm just kind of trying to avoid these guys.
Yep.
Let's go. It's a pretty good roll, 19D8. No opportunities.
All right. You successfully stay out of their way. Do you have any plot points left?
We do have 1.
All right. Do you want to use it as a retaliation with that effect die? Or do you want to just keep it for now?
What's their dice rated at again?
They're at D10.
Okay. And their total was, I'm sorry, what was it again?
The total was 14. You beat the roll.
Okay. Could I use a 15 for my total and hit him with the D10 effect?
You might certainly change your total.
Okay.
Yep.
I think I'll do that. And I'll spend that plot point to counterattack.
All right, so you pull out your swords and you start slashing at them as they come by. You part one down the spine as you pass over them. Another one, you chop their head off. They begin to fall and rain down on the central ring, all around Jameson, and you successfully reduced the mob from 3d10 to 2d10.
Okay. I guess that would have been the same either way. I would have had the extraordinary success on the 19.
Okay, so that's you. So are you passing it to Terror or to the crowd?
I'm going to go crowd.
Okay. The crowd stops for a second and then notices the wasps are no longer attacking them because there's nobody at the controls, and turn and again begin blasting the 3 of you with area attacks. So we are going for, this is a different mob. So 3d10, lethal entertainment D8, photon cannon D8, area attack, so 2 extra D6. So D10, D8, D8, D6, D6. And rolling. Amazing that there's no opportunities on that many dice. Everyone must roll against an 18 or suffer D10 physical stress. And actually, I got to make sure I keep my extra effect dice. So actually, 2 of you will have D6. Sorry, D8 effect die. Let me keep those. There we go.
Are we, sorry, did you say we're a team now?
You are a team. Well, if you choose to act as one, you are a team.
It's going to be a no for me.
Okay.
Not yet, anyway.
All right. So if you're acting solo or buddy, you won't be able to. You have to choose who your buddy is,
Okay.
or choose to be solo, and you will not be able to receive aid from anybody who's not a buddy. If you choose buddy.
So I'll choose Terror as my buddy for now.
Okay.
And let's go ahead. And this is just trying to dodge all these attacks they're throwing at us.
Okay.
I'm going to go D10 for buddy. I'm going to do D4 dashing swashbuckler because taking out the trapeze artist has kind of boosted my ego a little too much. And then reflexes D10 and acrobatics D10. So, okay, so 1 opportunity, and then I think I have a 19 D10. And then I'll take 1 plot point for the D4 distinction.
All right, very good. And so you escape that. Everybody else?
I've got my dice pool set up here. I would, if I have an option, I'm going to go with my solo because that's D10. I will use the D10 for solo. I will use whatever scene distinction there is right now. I will use it as a negative to get a plot point.
Okay.
Because I just got here and I'm looking around trying to figure out what's going on. I'm in human form, so I don't. Yeah, I haven't. Oh, taken action versus the doom pool to recover. Okay.
Yeah. But you'll be able to do on your next turn.
Yeah, and I'll do that. But right now, I've got combat expert at D8. So whatever is going on, I will use my combat training, my military training. Resist that. I've also got a D8 stress. I'm going to add that D8 to the doom pool and for a plot point. And I know that will after this it will step up to D10 for my stress. I'm cool with that. Also, I've got that one asset that I got from last time, so maybe I would like to use that one too, getting the hang of this asset, because at least I had an overview of the scenery to figure out what's going on. So what is that rating, Jason? That odd opportunity?
The asset, you mean?
Yeah, I think. It's
let me grab it. I believe it was a D8. Yep.
Okay. It should just be a D8. I mean, I don't have a power to connect it to a power stunt, so it wouldn't be able to step up to a D10. So it should just be a D8, which I've got here.
All right, very good.
Okay, then I'm rolling dice right now. I got a D10, 3D8, and a D4. And away we go. I've got, shoot. What are we rolling against? You said an 18?
Total of 18.
Oh man, I've got if I added a die, I would get a 17, and obviously that is not enough. So
Okay.
I'm gonna have to go with it.
You take.
I'll go with a.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, hold on. I think I will add the extra die so that I get a 17, and so I don't give you an extraordinary success.
Very well.
Because otherwise, I would have a 12, you have an 18. That's more than 5, so yours would step up, unless I spend that extra plot point to add another die. So I've got a 17, which doesn't beat it, but at least I only get a. What did you say the stress was?
Well, the D10 was targeting Nightcrawler, so you would be getting a D8.
Okay, I've since I stepped up, since I used my stress, it's now a D10 anyway.
All right, very good.
So D10 stress, and then I lose my asset, right? Since I used it.
You did use your asset, so that's gone.
Okay. Then
All
I've
right.
got a D10 stress, got 1 plot point. So go ahead.
All right, very good. So let me see here. We have one more person. We have Terror who has to roll yet.
I have 3d8 and a d10 from medical, positive, walking corpse, solo, and weapon from my power set. And that gives me a 15 with a d8 effect die. So I think I'm just going to spend the plot point to ignore all physical stress.
All right, very good. So you came out of it okay. So lasers blasting through. Everybody pretty much comes out of it okay. Let's see, that brings us to the end of the turn order, except for the fact that now the swarms are back under somebody else's control. So the swarm is going to attack the group. And let's see here. Because they weren't part of the scene as a watcher control character, I am going to spend one of my D8s to allow them to act in the turn. Let me go ahead and get back to where I can spend that. And they are going to, where is my swarm? Here we go. So they are going to be swarm. All right, so basically a D8 for their distinction. I'm going to actually go for a D4 because they're just regaining their own control. So D4, D8 for sting, and then 2 extra D6. D4, D8, 2 extra D6. I am also going to spend 2 D8 from the Doom pool to increase the number of dice in the pool. Rolling all. I've got two opportunities. You have to roll against a 12, and I don't have enough dice left, so I'm going to have an extra D4 for. So I have a D6, a D4, and a D8 for my effect die. So choose effect die. Okay. So everyone has to beat a D12. That steps that one up to, so that's a 1, 2.
All right. Let's see.
And I'm also going to create a lights out scene distinction by spending an extra D8. So we're down to 2D10 in the Doom pool. The lights out scene distinction will take place after this round is over. So it will not be available for this roll, but it will be available for future rolls.
Cool.
This is for avoiding physical harm from the Hornets.
This is another avoid being attacked by the swarm of wasps.
All right, I'm going to take corpse as a negative distinction now.
Okay. We have 5 minutes left in the game, so don't bother calling out what you're doing. Just assemble your dice pools and tell me your effect die and totals.
11 total D4 effect. Oh, and I got an opportunity on a D8.
Okay, take the opportunity.
All right. I'm gonna.
That'll give me the plot point I need to avoid physical harm.
And I wound up with 14 D10.
All right, so you're safe.
I was gone for a second. Is there an attack on me?
There is a swarm of wasps attacking everybody. Everyone else has succeeded.
Oh, okay.
So go ahead and just roll a don't call out what you're pulling together. Just pull a dice pool together, roll, and tell me the results. Because we have 4 minutes left in the game.
Combat, and I'm throwing the stress. Okay, rolling dice. I've got an 11. What's the total against me?
It's a 12.
Okay, then I'll spend that plot point to get a 15.
Okay. So you successfully avoid the swarm. Any opportunities or no?
No opportunities.
Okay.
I've got a D12 stress right now because I used my D10 in my D10 stress. So
you're now D12?
yeah.
Okay. Very good. And you said you moved your stress to the Doom pool already? Is that what you did to get that?
No, I used my D10 in.
I understand. I understand. Very good. All right, that resets the order. Who you want to have go? Actually, I was last, so I'm actually I was the last person, so I get to decide who goes first. I'm actually going to have the swarm attack again, and I'm going to have them attack at a D4 to the distinction, which allows me to step up my last one of my D10. I have a D10 in the D12 currently, so I'm stepping up my D10 to a D12. That gives me 2D12. Before I have a chance to roll, I'm going to spend that 2D12 because we're at 2 minutes till, and I'm going to use it to end the scene. The lights go, and you hear Arcade say, "Due to technical difficulties, we will be pausing for a commercial break whilst everybody enjoys an opportunity to buy our wonderful products in our store. Why don't we have a little free-for-all in the dark and see if anybody is surviving when we come back?" And you hear growling, robotic clanking. You see a light's eyes powering up in the dark. And there's going to be a free-for-all the next time we get together. So thank you, everybody, for playing. Our plan is for the next charity event to resume this game, assuming that everybody is available. If not, we will come up with something else. But for now, we are at a pause point in the adventure. Everyone has survived so far, which is really good. A couple people are very close to being on death's door, but we are persevering. I want to thank all my players. I want to thank Terrible Party for hosting. I want to thank our other streamers and players. And I want to remind everybody that we have one more stream tonight for Late Night with Steve and Jack at 11 o'clock Eastern. And we will see you next time.
Cool. Thank you, Jason. Had a good
Thank
time.
Cool. Thanks a lot, Jason. It was great.
Thank you guys.